are sent down to untangle a fishing net.
Off the coast of North Wales, beneath the Irish Sea, lies the wreck of an historic piece of naval history. In 60 feet of water rests the world's first steam-powered submarine, undisturbed in a watery wilderness for 115 years. Covered in barnacles, the Resurgam is barely recognizable. This is its distinctive pointed bow. 45 feet long, it sank in a gale in February 1880 while being towed from Birkenhead to Portsmouth, where it was to undergo sea trials. Over the years, there have been numerous attempts to find the wreck, but to no avail. Then, 6 weeks ago, an amateur diver trying to free snagged fishing nets discovered the vessel. Today, it was confirmed as the Resurgam.
When we got out on site, the water was unusually clear. I kitted up with my diving equipment, jumped over, followed these traps of cables down towards the seabed, and there, halfway down, was a huge blanket of fish. And just on cue, they parted, I went through, and it's so simple, the Resurgam was sitting there.
The Resurgam's inventor, the Reverend George Garrett, launched his craft in 1878, but despite having a revolutionary system for purifying the air of its crew, it received a lukewarm reception from the British Admiralty. Its discovery now, however, has brought a warmer reception from naval historians.
Not only is it the first British designed and built submarine that worked, it was also the world's first mechanical submarine.
Plans are now being made to raise the vessel. When it does leave the water, it will have lived up to its name. Resurgam is Latin for I shall rise again. Clive Myrie, BBC News.
The main news again tonight. Conditions at Britain's biggest women's jail are so bad that prison inspectors have walked out, calling them unacceptable. The prison's minister has admitted to a sorry state of affairs at Holloway. Newsnight is on BBC2 at 10:30, but that's all from the 9 o'clock news. Good night.
Good evening. Now the main stories from the Look North newsroom. A pub landlady has lost her bid to renew her licence after one of her customers drank himself to death. Mark Stirk choked on his own vomit at his home after a drinking session at the Bradford Hotel in Shipley. He was 7.5 times over the legal driving limit. Earlier today, a judge at Bradford Crown Court ruled that Mr Stirk had been served a gross amount of alcohol.
Friends of landlady Janice Dempsey angrily shielded her as she emerged from court. She'd been told she was unfit to hold a licence after 30-year-old Mark Stirk died after drinking at the Bradford Hotel pub in Shipley. He'd had the equivalent of 20 pints of lager. The Stirk family had this message.
Just hoping that there's a bit more respect for life and liquor in general, really. They both command respect. Let's hope there's a bit more given to each.
All landlords are legally obliged not to sell alcohol to customers who are overly intoxicated. Mark Stirk's family now hope landlords will be responsible.
Speaking earlier this evening, Terry Oates, president of the Northern Federation of Licensed Victuallers, said the magistrate's decision would have a good effect on landlords everywhere.
I think it'll have the right effect, and that's to warn all licensees and members of staff to be aware of this, and that it could cost them the livelihood for entertaining particularly habitual drunks or habitual drinkers. We're not in the game of serving these type of people. We're offering a service for people to come out and have a drink in a social convenience, not just to come out and stand there drinking out of proportion.
The long-term unemployed in Hull could have their benefits cut if they refuse to take part in a new government scheme being tried out in the city. The controversial workfare system offers 26 weeks of training to those who've been out of work for more than 2 years. Critics say the scheme will do little to get people back to work.
It's the long-term unemployed who are meant to benefit from this latest government scheme, but they will also be the first in the country to forgo part of their payments if they don't take part in work experience. The Prime Minister says it will act as a lifeline, but the unemployed in Hull today have reserved their judgment.
Don't give anybody a chance nowadays. Not when I'm getting £2 extra a day. That's not a chance, is it?
They'll give money in one hand, but they'll take it out of your other hand. You know, and it's just,
It's all a big con.
I think that having the possibility of their benefit being removed may in some cases be the only way to get them back into the habit of doing something useful, and that we think will help them and help their opportunity to get back to work.
This pilot scheme in Hull and in Maidstone in Kent is the government's answer to cutting spiralling costs, but reducing benefits has raised concerns.
And that's all from Look North tonight. We'll be back with a full roundup of the region's news and weather at 6:25 tomorrow morning. Now the national weather forecast with Penny Tranter.
Good evening. Pre-Christmas snow can be expected by the end of the week, especially in central and northern areas. In fact, on Friday we can expect that snow from the Midlands and Wales in the south through northern England into southern Scotland and Northern Ireland in the north. And some of that snow is likely to be heavy, especially over the high ground. And we'll keep you updated on this forecast over the next few days. At the present time, we have a blanket of cloud over much of the country, with a thicker swathe out to the southwest, bringing in a band of rain. And that'll be edging into the southwest by dawn tomorrow, perhaps with the odd flake of snow over the higher ground. Elsewhere over England and Wales and Northern Ireland, we'll see overcast skies and really quite misty conditions too. But for Scotland, it's going to be clear and frosty, with temperatures down to -3°C, giving us icy stretches on many roads. Relatively mild down in the southwest, temperatures there around 3 to 6°C, and that due to that cloud and also rain brought about by this area of low pressure slowly nudging northeastwards through the next day or so. So it's going to be quite cloudy and dull, misty weather over southwestern England into South Wales, with some persistent rain turning to sleet and snow over the higher ground. For the rest of England and Wales and Northern Ireland, really quite dull and misty, and certainly that cloud will be thick enough to give us the odd spot of light rain or drizzle as it did today. On the other hand, for Scotland, a much brighter day, certainly some sunshine in southern and central areas, but a scattering of wintry showers from the word go for many northern and eastern areas. Perhaps a few of those showers with the brighter weather nudging into northern parts of England later on in the afternoon. For temperatures similar to Monday over many areas, around 5 to 8 in the south, but bitterly cold in the north, temperatures around 1 to 3°C in a quite strong north wind. On Wednesday, that cold air pushing into many central and northern areas, with a relatively mild air trying to push in from the southwest, with this frontal system caught in the middle, and that'll be giving some rain in the far south, turning to sleet and snow over central and northern parts of England, with wintry showers in the north.
This is a lady quite unlike any other.
Britannia gets under your skin simply because she's very beautiful.
She's well travelled.
We've done 25 state visits on board her. So it's really rather a wrench to see her go.
Well kept.
The impression that Britannia makes when she comes in sets the tone for a visit.
And always well received. A lady with an extraordinary past and an uncertain future. Britannia, Wednesday, 9:30 on BBC1.
As controversial now as it was when it began, BBC2 peels away the layers of a peculiarly British institution in just over 10 minutes. The Page 3 story.
For king, for country!
It was a struggle for the new world. For the Indians, it was a fight for land. But for one man, it was a fight for much more.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you.
He saved us. We were alive only because of him.
I'll have you beaten from this fort.
Daniel Day-Lewis stars in a network television premiere, The Last of the Mohicans. Friday, 9:30 on BBC1.
Cult fantasy film action now on BBC1 as Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery battle through the ages in Highlander.
From the dawn of time we came, moving silently down through the centuries, living many secret lives, struggling to reach the time of the gathering.